Bon matin à tout le monde. Opening the meeting, numéro 2, disclosure of pecuniary interest. Il n'y en a pas. Okay, numéro 4, sujet, Ontario Drinking Water Standards. Hein? OK, moi j'avais une lettre ici.
M. Kirby, on a juste passé le numéro 3. Soit adopter l'ordre du jour.
Excuse-moi, adoption d'agenda. Proposé par. Non. OK. Appuyé. Merci beaucoup. Subjects, Ontario Drinking Water Standards, 4.1. OK. Ça, c'est mon sujet. Si vous permettez, je vais juste lire ça. Response to the question about excessive fluoride in groundwater. With this letter, I'm sending you 3 documents: regulations, standards that concern fluoride levels in drinking water. As I had initially told you, there are no regulations that I was aware of that prohibit severance based on high fluoride levels since our meeting. I've spoken to our program manager, who provided me with the regulations that pertain to this, and also spoke to the Ministry of Environment. All of our information gathered concludes that there are no legislations, guidelines that prohibit the use of land which residential commercial purpose become because of fluoride is too little or too much. All reference to fluoride levels revolves around managing it and spreading awareness to users. So, in my case, I would like this regulation. I don't want to impose this on any other of my colleagues, but in East Hawkesbury, this is what we don't have any water programs, and if we can't sever lots, that's the only way our growth can survive. So I would like that part to be in East Hawkesbury, in East Hawkesbury to be removed. Thank you for your comments. If anybody wishes for a copy, I can have one printed out.
Yeah, I'll just speak to that. I think I spoke to the resident that they reached out to me as far as giving me the background story of this particular case. It seems like, from the sounds of it, they're willing to do all the other things, knowing that if fluoride is not going to be the issue, I think they're going to push forward with other that needed for severance. Just that they're aware of the fluoride levels, and with that, they weren't going to spend all the money and all the time knowing that fluoride level. I understand. So I think if we can all agree that the fluoride levels don't matter, then they do the studies. I'd be the first one.
Yes.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. So I also had a conversation with the homeowner. In a perfect world, I'm not against severing land. I think it's a great idea to be able to provide the building opportunities that are necessary, especially in his case. He wants to be able to build. He wants to be able to be closer to his parents. And I understand that the way things are done in East Hawkesbury is not the way things are done in Clarence-Rockland. But when it comes to the fluoride, we've all had a copy of the legal challenges that happened in Clarence-Rockland, where there was case law, right? You had already shared that, and it puts us at risk. So what I've done is I've asked my own planning department, without telling them where this was. I just said, in general, if the fluoride does not meet the standards, would you allow building and severing of land? And without telling them, our water guy said no, our planner said no, and both of them were not in the same room. I placed each individual calls because I wanted to know their, I guess, unfiltered view, no pun intended. And that's where we're at. So I think we're setting a dangerous precedence by allowing one person to circumvent the rules and go through this process. And what could be happening is that it'll be really difficult to tell everybody else that wants to build in several lands that, nope, that's okay. All you need to do is come to council, get an exception, and you're good to go. The laws exist for a reason. The rules exist for a reason. All that we're asking this gentleman to do is go through the exact same process as everyone else. If he drills and goes through the process, he may be surprised and actually hit something that actually makes sense. Maybe the fluoride is a lot lower depending on the vein that he's going to hit. The sample that he took was basically by running his parents' water. We don't know exactly how long that ran. If it runs for 24 hours, the fluoride might be different than running for 1 hour. So there's a lot of gray areas here that I don't think are, I guess, complete. And to me, the rules and regulations apply for a reason. If he just goes for the normal process that everyone else goes through, we'll accept the results that way. But he can't tell me that he's willing to just go through this whole entire process because he took a sample from his parents' well. That's not how this should work. So, but once this is done, I support the fact that he should sever the land if that's the case. But the water issue has to be cleared up first.
Can I just rebuttal to that? I'm sorry. What Mr. Kirby actually just read was from the Eastern Ontario Health, and they clearly state there's no regulations when it comes to lower or higher. So if we're in here going to be determining that, and obviously the governing body that controls that clearly states that there's no legislation, then who are we to always impose on that? I'm seeing the letter just like you, Mr. Kirby.
Thank you. I don't want to put another municipality with a problem, but in East Hawkesbury, we don't have any other solutions for growth other than this situation. And with this letter, are your people like health related? Are they doctors?
No, but I don't know too many doctors that sit on this council. So I guess I would like to hear the opinion of the planning department. If they say that, if the Eastern Ontario Health Unit says that there are no regulations, why is it that our planning department says there is?
Is it safe to say, though, that we as a committee, we can assume that risk and say we want this, I'd vote this at this point and say, Mr. Louis, I'm okay with this. We as a committee can assume some of the risks that are involved, because obviously I feel there's very little to none. This is a family farm that this person grew up on. They've been there for 35 years. It's fluoride here. Let's not, we got, at a certain point, there's common sense that need to come into play here, and I think we're losing it. We're stopping growth over fluoride. Again, this is nonsensical for me.
Yes, Monsieur Parisien, s'il vous plaît.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Bediad and members of committee, Monsieur Prévost follows the rules that are in the official plan that council approves. So we can't bypass what's in, I will say, the official plan. We have to follow the rules. That's why you hire us, is to follow the rules. If council wishes to overlook this and make a decision that's going against the official plan, that's council's wish. That's, we're not going to step in your ways with this. We're only here to provide advice that if we do so, there could be ramifications. We're creating a precedence. But beyond this, and I'll let Mr. Louis Prévost talk about why we've got this in our official plan. But at the end of the day, if council wishes to let this gentleman have have a severance without going through the process, that's your call. But that also means that whenever we have someone that's unhappy with the decision we've made, they may feel like they should come to council and completely circumvent the process we have. This is what I can say for now, and it's relatively simple. Whether council agrees or not, you have the authority to make a decision that goes against what your administration is recommending. And on this, I'll let Monsieur Prévost talk to.
Oui, merci, Monsieur Parisien, membre du comité. Juste pour répondre à votre question, Monsieur Brière, le comité n'a pas d'autorité approbatrice. C'est vraiment le conseil. Si le conseil voudrait décider de, par exemple, de prendre en charge le dossier du morcellement, hein. Mais je voudrais juste vous rappeler que ce même dossier-là est venu à la table du conseil un an et demi passé, exactement la même chose. Puis, ce que M. Kirby vous a dit ce matin, j'ai aucune espèce d'idée d'où ça sort. J'ai demandé l'information à M. Kirby qu'il la partage avant la réunion. Il n'a pas voulu. Le bureau de santé n'a aucune responsabilité au niveau de l'adoption des détachements, l'approbation des détachements de terrain. Ils ne font même pas partie du processus de consultation publique. Que M. Zant a mentionné tantôt du case law, on a du case law qui date de 20 ans passés. Le 20 ans passés, on n'avait pas les mêmes gens qui révisaient les études qu'on a aujourd'hui. Puis, il y a eu un dossier où on a refusé un détachement de terrain parce que le fluor, après un certain niveau, ça devient un paramètre de santé. Dans les tests d'eau, tu as des paramètres esthétiques, tu as des paramètres de santé. Ça, c'est pas nouveau, là. Il y a du case law à tonnes là-dessus. Quand il y a des paramètres de santé qui sont en jeu, les autorités approbatrices n'approuvent pas les détachements de terrain ou les plans de subdivision. C'est aussi simple que ça. Ça a été prouvé en cours. On a même fait partie de ça. Donc, dans ce dossier-là, du fluor, il y en a de façon naturelle dans l'eau. Mais à un certain niveau, ça devient un problème de santé. Puis c'est pour ça que, dans le dossier que M. Kirby fait référence, les tests d'eau ont démontré que c'était très, très haut et que c'était dommageable pour la santé. Ça, je l'ai démontré dans un rapport au Conseil, il y a 1 an et demi passé. Donc, si vous voulez procéder avec ça, bien, le monsieur, il a simplement qu'à déposer une demande. Il va faire les études, comme il se doit de faire. Puis, si nous, on refuse la demande, bien, le monsieur a le choix ou M. Kirby a le choix d'apporter ça à la table du Conseil, puis vous prendrez une décision à savoir si vous voulez accorder un détachement de terrain qui va à l'encontre de toutes les politiques qui sont en place. Ça, c'est la situation présentement.
C'est simple, là. Chef de ça dépend. La province ne mentionne pas pantoute dans son rapport. Safe Drinking Water Act 2002. La province, they don't recognize it. Il n'y a pas un mot à propos de ça là-dedans. Pas un. Tout va bien. Moi, je ne veux pas imposer rien sur d'autres personnes. Faites ce que vous voulez, ça vient de cette terre.
Monsieur le Président, quand on parle du Conseil général. OK? Puis, il y a eu des recommandations à ce moment-là, puis on a voté là-dessus.
Monsieur Laviolette, oui. Essentiellement, ce qui est arrivé, il y avait 3 options. OK? C'était soit que le Conseil prenne en charge le dossier du morcellement de terrain, comme prenne la décision, qu'on ne fasse rien avec ça, ou bien que le monsieur dépose sa demande puis suive le processus normal. C'est ce qui avait été décidé, que M. Zant a proposé tantôt. Il passe à travers le processus. S'il n'est pas satisfait de la décision, il y a toujours le recours à l'amener devant le tribunal ontarien de l'aménagement, là, dans le sens l'anciennement la CAMO. Et s'il est si confiant que ça avec son... M. Kirby, s'il est si confiant que ça avec ce qu'il dit ce matin, il ne devrait pas avoir de problème, mais moi, je peux vous dire qu'il va en avoir des problèmes. Si ça va devant le tribunal, il ne gagnera pas.
Can I just, Mr. Kirby?
Go ahead.
All that we're asking is for him to go through the normal process that everybody else goes through. I think that's step number 1. Before we even pronounce ourselves on whether we're for or against it, just go through the process that everybody else goes through. 2, to your point, when you lifted up your stack of paper, I don't know everything that's in there because I don't have a copy of it. When you say that it's not even mentioned in provincial law, if that was the case, there would have been 0 case laws on this. Decisions were taken in court by municipalities being sued based on policy and procedures. So you may not have it in that stack, but I can guarantee you it exists. Otherwise, these court cases would have never been won. It's based on something. So to me, like I said, I support the fact that he wants to go through all of this. I just want him to go through the proper channels of doing it. He should not be any different by spending the money that every other builder that wants to build a house or sever land has to go through. And once that is done, once we actually have the figures and the studies properly, not just from a tap from his parents' house, once we have all that, we'll be able to take a better decision. But right now, we're taking a decision based on, what, 2% of the information possible. And that's the part that scares me. 'Cause at the end of the day, we're all here to represent the fact that this body should not be sued for taking a decision against policy and procedures as well as case law. That I just want him to go through the same policy or the same procedure.
Okay, any other comments?
I from my point of view, like I said, he's going to spend all the money, do all these things, and I think the general consensus is it's no. Why would he bother spend all that money? And well, we do know because there's a general meeting and there's a general consensus. It's been no from the beginning, and I am for one is like, well, if we exclude the fluoride, the rest seems to be passing. It seems to be in order. Exclude the fluoride. The rest is good. I have issues with that. Like, I mean, if we were to say, and again, let's work with the guy. Say, look, if the fluoride is, we can. I think there's a general consensus that if it's within certain ranges and stuff like that, maybe we can make this a go. But it's no right off the bat, and that keeps coming back with this case here. I don't blame the guy. It could cost him 40, 50, 60,000 to have a no at the end. I don't blame him. So it's a chicken and the egg situation, but I feel for those people. Again, it's a family farm. They've been there for 35, 40 years. Nobody's died from fluoride use. Everything seems fine. They have all as far as from my understanding, have all the space they need. They have everything. They meet all the other parameters that we're asking them. It's just a fluoride. So I for one, like I said, I wish we could work with them in a collaborative sense and not put all the costs on him. And it's not about us assuming costs, but we can say like all these studies are expensive. We are leaning to try to help you get to the end result that you want, because that's not the sense I got from any of the conversations I had with the resident, any of the conversations we have internal here. It seems like it's no right off the bat. So why would you want to spend the money? That's what it comes down to. I wouldn't want to spend that 60 grand, whatever it would cost to do that, if there's a general consensus that it's going to be no off the bat. So we're killing the idea before it even takes flight. And it's unfortunate in this case. If it's only a fluoride issue, which I think it is, we have the health unit they're the governing body of water when it comes to they are though. Whenever it comes to well water, the health unit tests. They're the ones that determine the it's potable or not. It's clear from the letter that they don't seem to have an issue with some of the fluoride. But again, I'm not an expert. I'm just taking much information and putting it together. Like I said, the general consensus that I have a feeling is that it's no right off the bat. Why would you spend the money?
In response to that, it's no right off the bat because he hasn't gone through the proper procedures to just get it done. That's why it's a no off the bat. That's and to be really honest with you, with regards to, and I know it's not the same level of fluoride in the water that there is when municipalities treat it, but when municipalities actually include fluoride in the water, they're wearing hazmat suits. So it is a dangerous substance. Obviously, it's at a much lower level because clearly his parents are in their 90s and are still kicking around. So clearly that hasn't affected them. But congratulations to them. I'm certainly not going to take the risk of actually waiting for someone to die before we go, oops, didn't see that one coming. Because we don't know. The water right now in the fluoride could be a certain level, and all it needs is one minor earthquake or some kind of a frostquake to switch that vein, and all of a sudden that goes up. And the Eastern Ontario Health Unit may have a say in it, but they're not the be-all, end-all on that. Even South Nation, which actually regulates water, by the way, not the health unit, said not to touch this with a 10-foot pole. If it's no, it's no. There's a fluoride limit, and that's the reason. But like I said, whatever decides here, it's still going to go to council. We're all going to have to vote on it anyway.
Okay, thank you for everybody's comments. For now, I'll proceed with seemingly there's a plan will have to go through the process. We'll see what happens after that. Appreciate all your comments. Thank you. Okay. So, rendu à numéro 5. Is that okay? We close there. Everybody satisfied?
Well, I'm pretty sure we have to vote to recommend, or not? Okay, Louise, il n'a pas fini, Monsieur Kirby.
Just the next meeting, Mr. Kirby?
Oui, s'il vous plaît.
Is on March 26th. Jeremy, the planning committee and also the public works is joined. It's a joint committee. And Jeremy informed me that he's going to have an item for the next meeting. It's a permit entrance, I believe. So the next meeting will be on March 26th.
On a clos, là?
Non, on n'a pas de huis clos, monsieur.
Non, pas? OK. Et proposeur pour appuyeur pour l'adjournement?
Proposé.
I'll second that.
OK, merci. Tout le monde en faveur? Adopté.